If you've ever uploaded photos to Google Drive, saved files to Dropbox, or streamed a movie online, you've probably heard the phrase, the cloud. It sounds almost magical, like your data floats somewhere in the sky, safely drifting above the world. But of course, your files aren't actually stored in the clouds above your head. They reside in massive data centers full of computers, cables, and cooling systems worldwide. So why call it the cloud? Let's dive right into it, right here on History of Simple Things. The story begins long before cloud storage existed. In the early days of computing and telecommunications, engineers needed ways to draw diagrams that explained how different systems connected to one another. Networks of computers, servers, routers, and cables quickly became too complex to draw in detail. Engineers used a cloud symbol to represent complex networks, meaning the details inside weren't important. By the 1970s and 1980s, engineers commonly used a cloud symbol in network diagrams to represent large or unknown external systems, a black box where data went in and out without showing the complex inner workings. As the Internet expanded in the 1990s, the same symbol came to represent the Internet itself, simplifying the vast network of routers, switches, and cables into a single, easy-to-understand shape. The idea that services could run somewhere in the cloud slowly evolved from this visual shorthand. Instead of software running directly on your personal computer, it could run on machines somewhere else on the Internet. Early web services began experimenting with this idea, hosting applications and storing data remotely rather than on local machines. The term cloud computing began gaining traction in the late 1990s. In 1997, Professor Ramnath Chalapa described a model where computing power could be delivered as a service over the Internet rather than tied to a single machine. It became mainstream in the 2000s as tech companies built massive data centers, letting people and businesses rent storage and computing power online. In 2006, Amazon launched Amazon Web Services, one of the first large-scale platforms offering cloud computing infrastructure to the public. The idea was revolutionary. Businesses could rent virtual servers instead of purchasing expensive hardware. Soon after, other tech giants followed. Google expanded its cloud services, Microsoft launched Azure, and companies like Dropbox popularized cloud storage for everyday users. Behind the friendly term cloud is a vast physical infrastructure of massive data centers around the world, housing thousands of servers that store data and run applications through high-speed networks. Because these machines generate enormous heat, facilities use advanced cooling systems, sometimes built in cold regions or powered by renewable energy, to keep them running efficiently. Redundancy is another key feature of cloud infrastructure. Your files aren't usually stored in just one place. Instead, they are duplicated across multiple servers and sometimes even across multiple geographic regions. This means that if one machine fails, another can instantly take over. It's one reason cloud storage is often more reliable than storing files on a single personal device. Security is also a huge part of cloud systems. Data centers use layers of protection including encryption, biometric access controls, surveillance systems, and network monitoring. In many cases, the facilities storing your data are guarded more heavily than typical office buildings. Of course, cybersecurity remains a constant challenge, but cloud providers invest heavily in protecting the information they manage. Interestingly, the metaphor of a cloud also fits another aspect of modern computing: invisibility. When you use cloud services, you rarely see the infrastructure behind them. You simply upload a file, stream a video, or open an online document, and it just works. The complexity is hidden, floating somewhere beyond the visible interface, much like a cloud drifting above the landscape. Today, cloud computing powers much of the modern internet. Streaming platforms store vast libraries of movies and music, while social media relies on the cloud to handle billions of posts, photos, and videos. Online collaboration tools let people around the world edit the same documents in real time. Even AI relies on the cloud, using its massive computing power so researchers don't need their own supercomputers. The cloud has also transformed how businesses operate. In the past, launching a website or digital service required purchasing servers, maintaining hardware, and managing physical infrastructure. Now, startups can launch global platforms by renting cloud resources. This shift has dramatically lowered the barrier to entry for innovation. The cloud raises questions about privacy, control, and digital ownership, but the name stuck because it evokes a vast, invisible network. Like the metaphor suggests, our photos, messages, and documents exist beyond our devices, accessible anytime online, making the cloud one of the most essential infrastructures of the digital age. So the next time someone says your files are in the cloud, remember, they're not drifting through the sky. They're stored in vast, humming warehouses of computers around the world. But thanks to a simple symbol that engineers once scribbled on network diagrams, we have a word that makes all that complexity feel just a little bit lighter. Thank you for watching. If you have suggestions for our next video, feel free to share them in the comments below. We'll be sure to give you an acknowledgement for your contribution. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the history of simple things. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more stories woven through the smallest details.